Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'll be discussing how to use Claude to analyze your production data. You might be a production manager or a manufacturing engineer or even a department lead, and you might be given some raw data uh, of what's going on the shop floor, and you are expected to be able to read that and interpret it and make decisions based off of that data. And to the naked eye, it can often be difficult to know what to do with that information. Oftentimes, you are just given sums or averages or efficiencies that may not always be telling the full story of what's going on the shop floor. So today I'm going to show you how to use Claude to do some more in-depth analysis. This is especially useful if you don't necessarily have the Excel skills, or maybe your data is not even in an Excel file. Maybe it's a CSV or a text file, and I will cover that as well. So I'm going to upload two different types of files. I'm going to do an Excel and a CSV file, and I'm going to show you that it can analyze both of them and kind of discuss proper techniques for how to prompt it and how to make sure your data is actually accurate. So I'll go and show you here. I fabricated some numbers that's kind of mimicking what you might see in industry here. So you can see we have dates, we have a day and a night shift, we have three lines, part number and part description, a scheduled quantity, scrap quantity, which is the difference between scheduled and actual quantity, and downtime minutes. And then we have some reasoning and some notes over here as well. And yeah, so this is what you might see if you're just looking at this file, right? You're gonna see your sums, um, and then over here a KPI summary. This is where it's calculated efficiency for you. Okay, so the first step, I'm just gonna open up Claude here, and I'm not gonna really spend too much time on how to use Claude. There are probably hundreds of videos on YouTube on how to use this tool. So I won't focus on that. I might make another video in the future on, kind of how to set it up. But I'm going to go ahead and just start a new project, and I'll explain the importance of doing this later. I'll show you why that's helpful. So I basically just made a folder for my chats. So I'm going to start the first chat within this folder that I just made called a project. And what's going to be my first step here? It's important that uh, whenever I upload a new file that Claude is unfamiliar with, that I tell it exactly what I just gave it. And you need to be descriptive, and this is how you're going to verify that it's reading it correctly and that it sees the data range correctly. So I'm going to go ahead and add. Actually, I'll need to close it out of here first. I'm going to go ahead and add that Excel file and upload it to Claude. Okay, so I'm going to do this first step. I'm going to tell it exactly what it's gotten. It's called data orientation, okay? And I've kind of made a list of prompts here that I'll go over. This is what I'm going to go through. Okay, I'm uploading a production data Excel file with two sheets, daily production log, and I've just listed all the headers. I've told it exactly what data it's got in that sheet. And the second sheet, which was that KPI summary. Please confirm you can read both sheets and give me a brief summary of what data is present, including the date range, number of records, and columns available. And that's going to be my output. That is what I want Claude to tell me. And this is how I'm going to make sure it knows what it's looking at, so that whenever I ask it to calculate stuff or find trends or patterns in the data, that it's not messing up. So it's reading the Excel file, reading both sheets, and here we go. Date range, June 2nd through the 5th. I'm going to open this back up, and we're going to go ahead and verify this as we go. Okay, 2nd through the 5th, that looks correct. 24 shift level rows, that is correct. We have 24 entries, 3 lines at a day and a night shift. and then it's told us our columns here. This is all correct, so this is good. And I might even recommend that you be more specific than this, especially if it's really cluttered or if it's super long. Um, write it a whole book. The first time that you do this is the most important, right? Once you do it the first time, it's repeatable. It will remember this chat and be able to reference it. And I'll get to that later. Ready to proceed. Okay. So the next prompt that I've got on here, we're actually going to start figuring some stuff out about this data. Okay. Summarize overall production performance across all dates and shifts. Include total scheduled versus actual production by line, overall efficiency percentage by line, total scrap quantity and scrap rate percentage, and total downtime minutes by line. Format the results as a table. And I've just thrown that table part in there to show you that it's able to do that. Um, you know, you can ask it to output whatever you would like. If you'd like it in paragraph form, or even if you wanted to make it add a slide in a presentation or something, it can do any of it. So this time I just want it to show me as a table. So looks like it's building me a dashboard here. Um, and what I'm going to do with this prompt is I'm actually going to verify that. I'm going to verify some of this data here right in front of you. And I encourage that you do this as well. Verify at least one of the key metrics. We can see here, line 2 has the highest scrap rate of 1.75%. I'm gonna go ahead and verify this here. Okay, I'm not just gonna take its word for it, right? That would be silly. And I recommend that you check this thoroughly, especially this first time that you run through it. Be thorough. So that's line 2, and that's scrap rate. So I'm gonna make this easy for myself and format this as a table, and filter down by line 2. So 56 is my total scrap quantity across line 2. And what we're calculating is the difference between the quotient between scrap quantity and scheduled quantity. The sum of this is 3,200. So I'm just going to verify that real quick by doing 56 divided by 3,200, 1.75%. So that is correct. Do that with all of the data if it makes you feel comfortable. I'm not going to spend too much time doing that. I just want to show you that it is accurate, but you should still check it. Okay, so that's cool. And it's suggested some next steps. We'll go ahead and move on. Downtime and scrap analysis. Okay. Identify which production lines and shifts had the most downtime. Break up downtime by reason code. What patterns do you see? Additionally, which line, shift, and part number had the highest scrap? Calculate the scrap rate percentage for each combination. Suggest possible root causes based on downtime reasons in the same rows. Note any areas where operator performance is the cause for error, and if there are any underlying issues. And this is cool, and I threw that in there because, you know, it may, if a machine or a line is running inefficiently, it's not always the operator's fault. There might be some underlying issues here, and I want to show you that Claude is really good it has all the statistical tools in the world, and you have it at your disposal. It can detect patterns that you would never ever suspect, or reasons that you would never ever suspect just looking at this raw data with the naked eye. I mean, especially imagine if this is, pages long and all you're looking at are sums and averages. That is not telling the full story. Downtime by reason code, equipment failure. Okay, so that's a pretty big one. So what does that tell us? What do we do with that information? Well, this is where you would use your better judgment as a production manager or a manufacturing engineer you might see that and you might be like, well, I need to refine my PM strategy for that machine. It's, that if it's equipment failure, I mean, that's a maintenance issue. Um, let's see what we have. Scrap rate 3.5% due to equipment failure. Okay. This sure with a small data set you might be able to see that, but if this was pages long, this would be impossible to figure out, especially if you don't have the Excel tools, or if it's not even in Excel at all. You would be better off going out to the shop floor and just watching it. You'd get more information doing that. Um, okay, it's basically just summarizing that scrap patterns. I'm not going to read through all of this. Recommendations: launch a PM review for line 1, press number 2. Great. Um, so these are some good suggestions, but we're not using AI to make the decisions for us. It's just giving us insight. It's boosting our productivity, and it's streamlining this process so that we're only taking minutes to analyze this data. Um, okay, so I think that concludes our Excel section. I'll go ahead and show you that it can do a CSV file as well. I don't want to make this video too long, but I'll just go ahead and upload that and open it up to show you what it looks like. Um, so this is a CSV file. I just have it opened in Excel, and it is messy. It's cluttered. That's the point. These are going to be just a disaster to look at. I mean, like, what is that? Um, yeah, spaces and extra columns and rows and all of the above. It's just CSV files can be a mess. And so, what's my first step here? I'm going to tell it exactly what it's got. Okay, data orientation. I'm uploading a CSV file auto-generated by our ERP. I have seen this in industry. It's a daily production report, blah, blah, blah. Parse this file and confirm the report date, how many production lines and shifts are captured, and the columns in the data section. So just going to do this data orient first. And sorry, I'm kind of running through this pretty quick. I just want to give you good prompting techniques, kind of the order that you should do this in. I would encourage you to be even more specific than I am and check even more of the metrics that I'm doing. And I'll show you it. You just have to do it one time and it'll remember how to do it. And it is repeatable. Okay. Data columns. That is looking great to me. So, um, okay, this is where it gets cool. I'm going to say repeat the same analysis we used for the Excel file. Keep the output format consistent. Let's see what it does here. Right. I'm going to show you that it is repeatable. It is going to tell us all this same stuff, but with the CSV file. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be a text file. It could be like a PDF, that's generated or whatever. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as you tell it what it's got and you're specific about it. It'll do all the work for you. So let's see what it's got here. Cool. Great. Output format has been kept the same, so it followed that instruction. And you could totally standardize this, right? You could be like, I love how you just formatted this for me. Do that the same for all the other ones. Or, like, let's say you want to put all this in your morning production meeting. Okay, you can standardize that and it'll output it the exact same way each time. And you can be like, okay, every time I upload this Excel file, make me a presentation with all this stuff in it. And it will remember how to do that. You log in the morning, you give it the file, and it gives you the presentation. And then you walk into your production meeting. It is that simple. I mean, it's like instant. Because if you take time to do it the first time, it'll remember all of this and it'll be quality quality outputs. And the last thing I'm going to go over is some graphs. It can make graphs if you want to include that. So I'm going to say choose some metrics from choose some metrics from the outputs that would be worth looking at day to day for my morning production meeting. What data would be worth analyzing over time? What are some solutions to achieve this? So that last part there, you might be thinking, well, so it's only looking at day to day data, but what you can actually do is track it over time, which shows you, I mean, it gives you a lot better information than just looking at it individually, like the days are separated, right? Um, metrics review morning meeting. Okay, that's cool. Did I tell it to make me a graph? Oh, I did. Yeah, I took the graph part out. Okay. Um, review weekly. Okay, cool. Solutions. Extend the existing Excel log with a structured append process, one master workbook. That one's okay. I would actually recommend you could save these all into a folder in your file system and then give Claude access to that folder. So you log in, you save it, and then you'd be like, hey, I just added a new production report. Go look at it and generate me whatever I've standardized for this morning meeting. That's a good one. That's a good strategy to use. But all of these would work. Um, this is just saying connected to the ERP directly. That's something you'll have to take up with your IT department, I'm sure. But I forgot to ask it about the graph. I'm just going to say, create me some graphs from a couple of the metrics from the data. All right, obviously you'll want to be more specific than that. I just want to show you it can do it. Um, but yeah, it can create any kind of visual that you want. Um, and the visuals are especially helpful if you can track this over time. You can look at it, a line chart or, you know, data that accumulates over time. It's very, very helpful. Uh, like it is, yeah, it's making me a line chart right now. It's making me two line charts. Cool, cool, cool. And this is, of course, going to take more time to generate. I'm asking it to do a lot more this time. Cool. Okay. Daily efficiency percentage by line. That's pretty cool. This is using I guess, yeah. So the Excel file did actually have a date range over time. So this must be from the Excel file. I don't know if the CSV. Yeah, the CSV file was just 1 day. So this must be from the Excel file. So you can see it can generate this for you. And if I had like 20 or 30 of these in a folder, it can read all of those and create this accurately. It's really cool. Like anything, like I don't know if any of you are familiar with Power BI or if you've used it, but this is something that you would use it for, except you'd have to write uh, you'd have to write the query for reading the files, and I've tried to do it, and it just takes a long time, especially if you don't have the Power BI experience. And it's made a Pareto chart. Um, so yeah, basically that's it. The possibilities are endless. It's just important that you do the data orientation first, and that you verify the data, because that'll be embarrassing if you're not specific enough, it doesn't read it correctly, and then you're wrong and you're lying to your company. It's a bad look. Um, so yeah, if I'll put these prompts in the description as well as these example this sample data if you want to try it for yourself. But it doesn't, it doesn't matter what this could be for anything, right? Any kind of data sheet. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Comment below if you'd like to see anything specific. I'm also open to critiques if I miss something here, um, or if I'm overlooking something, or yeah. But stay tuned for the next video.